And let's go, 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 go! We are live, guys. How is everybody doing? We are live. Let me double check if everything is working. Sound is okay. Image is okay. Everything is okay. And yes, and we are completely online right now, guys. We are live. Welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome, everybody. Today is going to be a really good one because, wow, what a move. Today, been a while since I've done a live stream. So, as you can see, a lot of activity has happened on the YouTube channel lately with some few announcements. What I'm going to do here today is I'm going to quickly go through some, what's the word? Through some, can't find the word, guys. Through some announcement stuff. Then, obviously, we're going to take a really good look at Bitcoin because, oh boy, do we have volatility today. We had today like a crazy day. First, we had a pump of about 3%. Then we had a dump of about 5.5 to 6%. And right now we have bounced almost 3% again. So what is happening, guys? You know, a lot of excitement and a lot of fear today in the market. So I'm going to be your voice of reason. As always, we're going to look at the charts, calm, collectively, and build arguments for and against of what price might be doing next, what levels we're going to look for to trade next, and simply go from there. So I got you back. No worries. No need to be fearful. No need to be overly excited about anything because we're gonna take a good look at the charts together and have a good time today, right? So first of all, let me just take a look at the chat. Wow, it's busy. It's busy right off the bat today. It's really great, guys. So let me see who we have in the chat. Let me just welcome everybody. Let it give people a little bit of time to just roll in because we literally just started, I think, over less than a minute ago. So let people give a little bit of time to tune in. Who do we got in the chat? We got Wheels18, Stego, Illusion, and Bjarn so far, and Larv and Gerko. Welcome, guys. I'm starting to see some names that are becoming familiar to me, so really happy to have you on. So, yeah, it's going to be great. I see Jeff rolling in as well. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Yeah, and as JWDC says, hit the likes, guys, because it's going to be a good one amidst the volatility. I'm going to be the calm amidst the chaos in the markets right now. I know I sound ridiculous, right? But anyway, there we go. First of all, I want to once again give you guys a really big shout out of all the support you've been giving me. We are closing in on 5,000 subscribers. Really big goal of mine, almost reality. So thank you very much for all the love that you've been giving me. In case you've missed, I'm going to start a new series starting on next Monday, and also going to do a competition with over $7,000 worth of prize money to be won. If you've missed it, you can simply go to the social media platform of your choice, because I've done an announcement on YouTube. Simply go to my channel and watch the latest video there for all the full details on that. Or if you like Twitter better, then simply go on my Twitter and you will find all the information there. But just in short, the competition is still open for registration. Gonna start in 4 days. So all you have to do is simply follow the link. It's also in the description below, I believe, if I haven't forgotten to do so. So simply click on the link, make an account on BitGet. You don't have to do KYC if you don't want to. Simply make an account, deposit at least 100 USDT. You can also do more if you want to, and simply log in and click on the register button, and then boom, you're in the competition. Starts on Monday, lasts for about, exactly 3.5 weeks. So make sure you join that competition, because the more people, the merrier, obviously. And it's going to be a decent competition, $5,000 worth of prize money, and the person who wins earns 1250 USDT. So if you start off with only 100 USDT, it's gonna be literally more than 12x your original investment. So I think it's a great deal. So and you can follow along with my daily analysis on the new series that I'm gonna do. Every single day, I'm going to give you guys a public update on YouTube for free on what I'm expecting from the markets for the duration of the competition. So, with all the turmoil going on, with all the KYC and all the different exchanges, if you have been hesitating on trying out something new, well, here's your chance. Very low barrier entry. And I think it's a really good opportunity to just try out something new and just see for yourself if you like it or not, right? You can make your own decision in that. So that's going to be really great, really fun. I'm super excited to do that. And hope you will join, because the more people, the merrier, like I just said. You can find all the detailed informations, also in the whole description. Not gonna be bothered by reading this out loud right now, because I've already done so in another video. So just take your time, read everything through, see if you like it, and if you join, I'd be happy to see you there. And you can follow along with the Crypto Compass series that's gonna come out soon. So that's what I wanted to say about that. So the program for today simply is we're going to take a look at Bitcoin, obviously. We're also going to take a look at other markets. If you have any questions about the competition or about the markets, or just if you're interested in a personal question or anything, just write them up in the chat and we will also take some time to answer those questions. Right. Okay, so I see people tuning in, which is really great. Do not forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit the like buttons. And now people have been rolling in. So, you know what? Let's do what I'm here for, what you're here for, and that is looking at the Bitcoin chart for now. Right, so a lot has happened this week. Some news has come out, especially in the crypto markets, quite a bit of turmoil. All kinds of news came out about, the blockchain being stagnated or filled with NFTs, and therefore Bitcoin might dump, etc., etc. If you're one of those that's just, let's say, if you saw the price dropping right now and then start looking for news, I would say for trading, if you're looking to trade that, you're late to the move. So we're going to have to use the one-to-one information that the chart's going to present to ourselves. And so it did, because there's all a technical reason behind it. If you haven't found it yourself, allow me to demonstrate. Essentially what we have done in Bitcoin is we've really been in quite a stagnant and not necessarily choppy, but very quiet range, really. Obviously, this week is a little bit different than other weeks. I'm a little bit more cautious with interpreting the information because of the fact that we had one of the largest exchanges enforcing KYC. So I wanted to see what is the volume going to do? How's the volume shifting? Are we getting less volume? And for me, that's important to know because I'm a price action trader and I look at order flow. That's why it's important for me to just observe that data a little bit. Calm down a little bit on my position size and simply approach it a little bit more sensible, because we now have potential new information or a change in dynamics potentially. It's too early to say what the actual effects are going to be. Maybe it's going to be nothing, but that's what we don't know yet. Regardless, as a trader that does this each and every single day, there are times when I can be very aggressive on my positions and times where I still trade, but I'm a little bit more sensible with my approach and the way that I take positions. Today is such a day. Unfortunately, while we were having this drop, this is something I would have actually loved trading, and I'm gonna have to come clean to you guys. I was actually having dinner, so I missed the move. So I'm not in a long trade currently, although what we're gonna find out whether this is a potential good opportunity for a good bounce to occur from here on out, right? As you might have noticed, I'm changing things up a little bit because normally I always start with the bigger picture and then I zoom into the more local picture. But now I want to do it slightly differently. Another change that you might see is right now I'm charting on the BitGet chart because I personally have moved over fully to BitGet myself. And that is where I will do my charting work on. And so far, the results have been absolutely great. Very well respected technicals. So, where are we right now on BTC? What we've done, we've come down, right? We've had quite a big drop, and then we've ranged for a couple of days. And today, seemingly, we have broken out of the range. Now, you could say, like, hey, but, we kind of just stopped in the middle. If you zoom out to the higher time frame, you would say like, hey, but there's not really any market structure going on here. So how come we didn't pump any further? Well, allow me to demonstrate. So the real reason is actually coming from the midterm time frame. And that is where I'm going to zoom out, right? So I'm going to zoom out now to the larger time frame. And what I'm going to do is pull a fixed range from the start of the range to this range. This is a zone. If you've been watching the streams, you probably are aware of what I was looking at. This is the range that we're currently in. And I've said time and time and time again, as long as we do not trade outside of the range, I still expect higher prices. Now, has that changed, yes or no? Well, for that, we're going to look at what happened today, and we can start build a case for and against. So let's go. I'm drawing out these levels, as you can see, and what happened today is out of the local range, right? So let me just show you the levels that I've already prepared for you guys. We have had a POC over here, which is the middle of the midterm time frame range, and I'm referring to the range between $31,000 and $26,000, $26,000. So today, if we now start looking at the more local picture, to the 1 hour chart or maybe even the 15-minute chart, what we have done is, as a matter of fact, we have front run that bottom of the range, really, not only in terms of market structure, but also in volume levels. We've just hovered around there today, seemingly breaking out, and you can already see that POC, we breached it initially, right? Got rejected, backtested it, had another attempt to the high, and then simply fell through. Simply fell through. That's it. Now, why did we stop here and not at this particular level? Well, that is where more local market structure once again comes into play. Because look at where we tapped out. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the BitGet chart, right? So if you have been skeptical about whether technical analysis is well respected, yes or no, this is the proof it works. It works really, really, really well, actually, right? So that is at the moment what happened. Now, let's boil this down to the more local price section, right? Because we've now had the clues of what happened here. Okay, so we just basically pumped out of here, which was a short squeeze, by the way, and this also was a long squeeze in return. But what we did is we advanced outside of this range, backtested a point of control, right? Then had another attempt, and then we dropped down. Well, the clue lies in the way that we've started consolidating above that point of control, which for me has been classed fairly unhealthy for multiple reasons. First of all, you could class this as some sort, it's not perfect, it's not the most beautiful upward sloping range, but somewhat unhealthy consolidation. So just by the shape of that range, how it has been formed, for me already classed like, doesn't look really that strong, to be honest. Right? So the second thing that we then have to look at is how did the order flow progress over there? At the moment, I'm going to use Bybit data because that is what ExoCharts currently has. I'm still waiting for them to release BitGet order flow. It is in progress. They are working on that. And so I'm simply just waiting for that, and I'm just gonna have to work with the data that I've got and cross-referencing it to the other exchange. I'm putting in that work, so hopefully in due time I can, give you a lot more clarity on how that works together and how that translates to each other. But so far, it all just simply holds up. So essentially, what happened is we just squeezed to the upside. We simply squeeze to the upside, stopping out shorts over here. We see a big decrease in open interest and we see shorts closing. So in that way, we can conclude like, okay, that was a short squeeze. That is usually that's how a move starts, but you want to see immediate follow-up. In other words, you want to see volume coming in after the squeeze, preferably longs or short. Actually, it doesn't really matter too much, but what we can see is actually that the volume completely died out. So all it was just a simple squeeze. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less, right? It was just a squeeze. Now, of course, we had some local traders trying to trade this, but it was simply not enough for price to have to gain that momentum upwards, right? So that upward sloping channel range over here, like I said, it's not the most pretty, but I would class it as such. In combination with the lack of volume, simply, gave me already that's two reasons why I would say like, okay, that doesn't really show continuation. If you're not very well versed in order flow, no problem, because we have yet another reason why we got rejected over here, and that is very plain and simple technical analysis. Simply, basically, this is maybe even more correct, where the latest move started dropping downwards. Wait a second, I'm not doing this correctly. Hold on, let me correct that. Basically, where we started dropping to the downside, we have front run more, this is a little bit more local. So what we've done is basically where the real move starts, and this is a little bit of an unorthodox Fibonacci pool. I do agree with that. But the reason why I'm doing this, right, we did front run it slightly, was this is really where the real move out of the range started. So I'm classing it as such. Move, range, and this is where the move out of the range really started. This is where that latest rotation started. So therefore, I have to admit, a little bit of an unorthodox pool, but based off of market structure, we can pull that Fibonacci down, and we can see that we have just, at least on BitGet, just slightly front run that 618 level, just slightly. And that is another technical reason as to why we've got rejected. Now, I have to admit, because it's an unorthodox pool, I'm not putting too much weight on it. But it does give extra confluence, right? The main reasons for me personally why I would class this as a rejection was simply we had a squeeze to the upside, we consolidated in a fairly unhealthy way, no volume coming in whatsoever, nobody interested really to trade there, and that is why we simply dropped down. That's the technical explanation. Whatever the news did or whatever announcement came out, I don't care, because that gave me all the information to not long a breakout, for example, and instead potentially choose to short, right? Now, personally, I was actually, and this is why I'm a little bit frustrated, I was actually waiting for a further drop to the downside. Because if we zoom out to the higher time frame a little bit more, right, then you probably start to see a pattern that has been going around on the internet for quite a while, something along the lines of a head and shoulders, right? Where we have a few lows, this one, but also this one, right? So what happened was, after we had that failure of continuation to the upside, we actually dropped 5.5% in a really short amount of time, which is, not gonna lie, a pretty crazy move. But in the process of doing so, we actually took out this low over here, right? So potentially we have gotten ourselves a swing failure, trying to take out this low, trying to take out the lows of the range, but at the moment hasn't succeeded in doing so. So this could be a potential place for a proper bounce to occur. Now, in order for that bounce to find that continuation, we really need to first start reclaiming some local levels, right? So we once again need to zoom back into the lower time frames, and we got ourselves this little range over here. And seemingly, we are starting to get acceptance back into it. However, that's only the first step, right? Because this is just the first bounce. 3% bounce though, really big bounce, which is the reason why I'm slightly annoyed that I missed that move, because for me that would have been a brilliant scalp trade at least. A 3% scalp trade, I would take that any day. And from there on out, I would wait for that to progress further. Now, I missed that scalp trade, so I'm gonna have to look for a new opportunity. As simple as that, That's the good thing about trading, especially trading the lower time frames. You can come in and just start looking for trades wherever you want. However, I only want the best ones. This was a good trade, However, if I would not necessarily class this as a complete swing failure pattern that's gonna get a continuation just yet. Because we do need to do a few things from here on out. The first step is actually start to get back into that range, right? But that's not all yet, because if we start looking at some intraday levels, such as the VWAP, it's quite high up, right? So we first really need to start get back above that to have a little bit more positive momentum once again for today's trading session. In addition to that, what we would also want to see is having a change of that local market structure first. And also that hasn't happened yet. So for now, all that it is just a bounce. And that's it. That's all this is. If you got into a trade from the very lows, you're pretty safe at the moment, right? So you're pretty safe. Although it is wise to take profits already at these kind of regions, because we are already, like this was resistance, albeit low time frame. And at the moment, it looks like we're just hovering right here, right now, just, deciding what's going to come next. So what are the chances that we're going to see another drop in price? At the moment, I would say the probability is fairly high, because even though we got back into the range, which makes it a little bit more mixed, I do not necessarily like the lows per se. However, like I said in the beginning, I'm a little bit more cautious because of, the whole potential volume shift that might be going on, and I might be way off with my with my expectations here, right? But I want to be sensible, and if this is new information that has not happened for a long time, I do want to be cautious a little bit. I prefer to protect my capital rather than to just waste it away when a new piece of information enters the market that I haven't processed yet. And I would say I'm currently in that stage. So what are the likelihood of getting us another drop? I think at the moment, right, it's fairly high, because once again, this does start to look like a little bit unhealthy consolidation. In addition to that, if we simply zoom into the higher time frame, let's say the daily, we literally had just like this classic Darth Vader wick, just like we had over here, just like we had over here, and right now once again. What happened was, short summary of really what happened today. We had a squeeze to the upside, seemingly reclaiming an important key level, failed to do so, run all the stops to the downside, and now we're ending up really back in the middle, pretty much where we started off. This is really such a classic day, especially when like this information is gonna come out about the inflation. It always brings like this short-term volatility. Last week we were also live during the announcement. However, then we kind of got a little bit of a non-event. Well, today is such a day. We do have this kind of price action going on. All right. I mentioned before, why do I not like the lows per se? Well, first of all, what I would really like to see, from here on out, I do think we have the potential to actually test that VWAP, by the way. And from there on out, we're going to have to reassess what's going to happen next. But what I do not necessarily like about this particular move down, and this is where we really tie into the fact, like, okay, I'm a little bit more cautious this week specifically with interpreting this volume data. Because obviously Bybit is having some liquidity issues, not gonna lie, and this is Bybit data. And we can already see, yes, indeed, massive liquidity issues, right? We can also see here to the upside, massive liquidity issues, really big liquidity issues. So we had a drop, we had a decrease in open interest as we were coming down. But one problem. First of all, we have this liquidity issue, right? Second of all, I'm not really seeing too much shorts opening up at the low. So if I would be counter trading, let's say fading the move, so to speak, in terms of a head and shoulders, I would ultimately love to look for something like a fake out like this, and then actually reclaiming that before a really big move out of the range. That is my ultimate scenario that I'm looking here on the midterm time frame, right? As such, I've been building a long swing trade over the last few weeks really, and I'm still doing so. I remain in long trades for the time being, and it does depend if we come back here below, see what happens. Ideally, what I would love to see is having that drop to the downside, ideally even taking out this low, have tons and tons and tons of shorts opening, right? People shorting that breakout. Then I want to see that bounce coming into play. And then, you can class this as a fake out of the head and shoulders. And then I would pretty much expect a full rotation pretty much to the upside to at least $30,000. That is what I am looking for. And at the moment, there's some elements missing. First of all, I see liquidity issues down at the lows. So that already tells me, like, okay, it's pretty likely, that we're going to revisit that again. And keep in mind, I remain cautious with interpreting this data this week, right? But that is what I would look for. And what I also miss is that rather than shorts actually getting aggressive at support, we do actually see a significant increase in longs over here. And that doesn't really sit very well with me. And on top of that, if you also have some knowledge about TPO, again, this is pretty complex, not going to go too deep into that, but I simply think those SPs over here are way too big, 17 prints in a row. This is for me an indication that it's for me, it's pretty likely that we're going to revisit these lows. And that's what I think. Now, when am I wrong on the idea, right? When am I wrong on the idea? For me, when I'm really wrong on the idea is, first of all, if we really start reclaiming this VWAP, that will be a first initial sign of strength. Keep in mind, we would still be in the range. So naturally, this level would simply be next. Right? This level would simply be next. Oh yeah, and we also, by the way, have this weekly level that has been kind of chopping through on the lower time frames. On the higher time frames, we have kept that pretty much as support, and currently we're trading below that. So for now, that's also a level that we kind of need to really reclaim before the VWAP. Then we need to reclaim this one, and then ultimately, if we even do all of that, we have this level once again to be reclaimed. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 local levels we really need to reclaim before I'm going to class this as a bullish bounce, and I would look for continuation, and that $30,000 is back on the table, right? Which has been a magical resistance over the last few weeks. That is what I'm looking for. Ultimately, what I would love to happen is that we're going to challenge this low, boom, like that, then find that reclaim, and then have that full rotation. And as I've missed this move because I was having dinner, man can't eat nowadays, So, makes you miss trades. I would prefer that, because then I can actually potentially get into a long. Now, if we really start dropping out massive volume, we have lots of shorts coming in, and we fail to bounce, well, then I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna jump in front of a steam train, and I'm not gonna be the only person that's gonna long over there, right? So it does depend on how we get there. All these ingredients only give the potential. It does not necessarily give me instantly a trade trigger, like, oh, I see shorts coming in, boom, let's long. That's not what I'm gonna do. I want to see, first that initial bounce starting in the order flow. That's what I'm gonna look for. So yeah, I hope that is more or less clear. So just, that's pretty much really it for Bitcoin. So midterm time frame, we remain overall pretty range bound. Locally, we have been ranging as well. We had a fake out to the upside. We also had a fake out to the downside. And now we're pretty much once again. So in the end, while we did have massive volatility today, we got a total, if you calculate all the moves up and down again, it attributes to about 15% on a single day, which is pretty nuts. But if you just would zoom out, take a really deep breath, and just forget about all the local things, we really are totally and utterly range bound still, right? Hence the reason why we also do have volatility, because in ranges, people get bored. And people start trading larger because they just simply get bored. They start treating the markets like a casino. And this is the point in time where I'm just sitting back, being very patient, waiting for the trade to come to me, something that I'm not going to chase. And if all the stars align at the right moment, I'm sitting there with my plan ready, and boom, all I have to do is enter the trade, because I plan it in advance. I know beforehand how much money I'm actually risking. I already know where I'm looking to trade it to. So I already put in the work, and all I have to do is just simply execute based on the data that is then presented to me in the heat of the moment. And that's how I trade, guys. Yeah, so hopefully you all understand exactly what I'm looking for right now, because that's my goal here today. I will also take a look at the ES right now, and then I'm gonna look at some questions. Well, the ES, really simple, really didn't change a single bit, really. We have been struggling with this level for weeks now, really for weeks. Has been a really big level already for about a year or so, really. Well, that's actually a lie, half a year, I would say. We got rejected initially, really big rejection. Then we had once again hovered through the level, got another really big rejection, and then simply we are now really again at this level. So for the ES, I would kind of like the ES to trade a little bit higher to that 4,300-ish level. And that is what I would really like to see before we get a really big rejection. That also would coincide with the long idea of my Bitcoin trade, where I would be looking for above $32,000 before a bigger correction comes into play. Although, now that maybe I'm gonna have to come back on that statement, to be honest, because I do think that because we have been ranging here for a while, the longer we range here, and I've said this before, right? The longer we range here, so initially it was just this range, right? Then we busted out of this range, and eventually it evolved into this really big range. Because of the fact that we are ranging here for quite long now, I do also think that with that, abilities increase for a definitive break, right? So while I'll be happy to trade a fake out of this lows, I do think that if we do break out of this range, there is a chance that we can get some serious continuation. Just keeping that in the back of your head. And that is the reason why risk management is so important. We're getting some volatility, guys. Okay, cool. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Boom. This was kind of what I was hoping for. Finally, we're getting the volatility. All right, let's go. What is going on here, guys? So we are now attempting, like I said, the liquidity gap at the moment being filled through the VWAP at the moment. Decrease of open interest, increase in volume. At the moment, nothing special yet, but it is important. It is an important level to breach. But to pull any real conclusions from here is a bit too early. At the moment, we're basically just pumping. We're having these local shorts actually getting stopped out. So let's see if we can find some continuation. What I want to see now, preferably I want to see now that push upwards for more people to start longing. And that could actually give us momentum to retrace a little bit, right? Further. So keep in mind the levels that I literally just mentioned. Let me put them back on. Getting lost here. What's going on? There we go. So currently just above that VWAP. We need that back test. So let's boil down to the 1 minute chart and see what we can get. I'm gonna put an alert here so that we can take a look at the price once it gets here. And I'm gonna also take a look at the chat. Let me see, guys. All right. Hit the like buttons, guys. Hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. Costs you nothing. Costs you 1 second of your time. We have a lot more viewers than we have likes. And that hitting that like button would really help. Let me take a look at the chart while we are waiting for that backtest to come. You see, like, keeping your calm during this kind of volatile price action, because, you know, this is another, what is it? Like literally another 1.5% move in just a few minutes. And this is why, you know, you can see that you have these really big moves in such a short period of time. Of course, there's news coming out, but there's also a lot of shifts going on this week, specifically in crypto, right? And in order to avoid getting caught off guard by these super volatile moves, I'm a little bit more cautious with my approach here. Normally, I love this kind of volatility, and I still do, by the way. But just with every new piece of data, you need to take some time and interpret that correctly before you can actually successfully trade off it, right? So for my approach is simply, I get a new piece of information, and instead of just, you know, being stuck in my way that I used to do things, I'm just thinking like, okay, but what if this literally would change the market? What if I make a wrong decision? I do not want to just out of nothing in 1 minute get squeezed out of nowhere, right? Because I haven't taken the time yet to interpret this information. To me, that is sensible trading, right? Now, if next week we keep on having the volatility, by next week I've probably been able to interpret this information correctly, and I will take like more heavy trades from it, right? And I will. But for now, it's just the most sensible. Right. Let me see some questions, guys. Oh yeah, so I already see the question: is the order flow good at the moment? I mean, it still works. It definitely still works. But how accurate it is, I cannot really say yet. So I'm gonna have to wait out this week, really. I'm really gonna have to wait out this week. So far, it's still decent. Although there are some really small discrepancies, right? The price just moves really rapidly. And that is partially because of the lack of liquidity on some exchanges. That is 100% true. Let me see. FOMO, CPI, data, and dump I see here in the chat. Let me pop out this chat so you guys can read along. And then I can also have some time to actually take a sip of my coffee. I'm drinking black coffee, little bit of sugar. Let me know what you're having. Maybe I should switch to alcohol after this because it's evening. And I'm having a good day, to be honest. Let me know how your day is. Why do you trade cross and not isolated? Good question. Huge topic as well. I have a very long answer and a very short answer. The short answer has to do with the fact that I am trading on multiple accounts, and it allows me to, especially for scalping, allows me to basically work quicker, right? I already know my risk always beforehand, and I can't be bothered to just waste my time on sliding the isolated thing to 2x, 3x, whatever. That's the reason. It's just easier for me. It allows me to work faster, and I already know my risk anyway, so for me it's really not a problem to trade on cross. Yes, it's true, it shows as a 100x trade, but actually in reality it just depends on your position. Let me see. We have some conversations going on in the chat, really nice. Nightbot spamming in the meantime as well. Let me see. Dead cat bounce. Maybe. We could take a look at that, actually. Dead cat bounce. Let's see if we are gonna... Well, this is already way too high for dead cat bounce. Dead cat bounce refers to the 382. So that is at the moment not the case. So let me start from... Let me just clean up first. Alright, time frame. Let me work my way slightly through. So let's see if we actually have potential for dead cat bounce, right? So, bam. Yeah, we actually do. Good find. Good find. It does also have actually, that allows us to actually have some fib confluence. Higher time frame and more local time frame confluences, pockets. All right. So let me adjust that a little bit. Bam. We already hit that, of course. So let me... Yeah, no, we don't have confluence. We do not have confluence. Unfortunately. No, well, I guess it's a little bit of a zone, really. It's really a little bit of a zone. It's a little bit of a zone. But to say like, oh, that's really strong confluence at the moment, no, I wouldn't necessarily say so. Although, yeah, I mean, taking out that high definitely would be good. I mean, I do think, so don't get me wrong, guys. If we do reclaim that point of control, right, then I would definitely say like, okay, it's pretty likely that this was the fake out that we all that I originally wanted to see, albeit originally I wanted to see that a little bit lower, but then I would say that increases the chances of actually getting a larger bounce or actual full retracement at the very least, right? Much more probable. And that would force me, well, for me not really, because I'm my average entry is around these lows already anyway. So that would be good for me, but to take more like a day trade, I would be forced to enter up higher. That is 100% true. But at the moment hasn't happened yet. So I would say there's still a chance that we can get that drop. And if not, well, so be it. So be it. Hey, will you have a course on order flow reading? Would be very cool. Well, my friend, yes, I will. I will have a course in order flow trading coming out this year. More info later. More info later, but yes. Let me see. Where would be your TPs if you traded this? Oh, yeah. Well, so... what I do not like about is talk about trades that I could potentially have taken, because it kind of sounds like I'm doing hindsight analysis. But just for the sake of it, like if I would have traded this from the very low, first TP would be here, second TP would have been here. So now 2 TPs would have literally been hit. And then that third, probably actually... for a day trade, maybe close the trade. I mean, we're talking about a 5% move. If you can't be happy with a 5% move on a single day, yeah, then you really need to work on your expectations, I would say. For swing trades, obviously different, right? Then I would be more looking to hedge things, etc., etc. But for a day trade, most like maybe keeping like 10-20% open just to see what I can squeeze out of it. But for me, very simple would be sorry, not TP here. Actually, would have been this over here, literally where we consolidated. That is where I would have TP'd TP2 over here, and then TP3 / closing out of the trade at the top of the range. In other words, the point of control and previous resistance of the day. And that is where I would close out of the trade, crack open a beer and enjoy my profits, pretty much. And come back tomorrow and trade again. That is how I would have approached it. But like I said, I'm not a big fan of talking about it in this way because, yeah, well, I haven't traded it, so I don't really want it to sound like hindsight analysis. But anyway, there you go. Hopefully that helps. I'm still short. Let's dump it further. So now we're starting to consolidate a little bit. I expect this alert to go off any time. Let me see. Hi, Mike. I love your streams, man. In case we get bullish CVD on a possible retest. Okay, so gonna cut that short right away, and then I'll read the rest of your question. This week, I'm not using CVD. For the reason of that, I want to see what the volume is doing. So I'm not using CVD currently. It might still work, but I'm just excluding it totally this week from my analysis. Next week, I'll look into it again. But this week, no. And that has to do with maybe people closing positions because, you know, like at the moment, for example, on Bybit, you know, you have KYC. People can only, if you haven't done KYC, you can only close your positions and withdraw. So that would mean that volume would be leaving the exchange only and no new volume comes in. So automatically you would have like really skewed potential CVD divergence. So, you know, that is one of the reasons where I already said on Monday to myself, okay, this week CVD is not relevant. This week I'm just gonna totally discard it. You know, and next week I'm gonna come back to it and see where we're at. So to answer your question, I would be trading it off of literally like trap traders and squeeze potential. That is what I would trade it on. So I would not necessarily look for absorption there. Not necessarily. Unless it's like so clear as day, then I would I would add it as a potential confluence, but it would definitely not be my main reason to trade it. Okay, so let's see. On Bybit, we're testing the VWAP currently perfectly. Already did so in the previous 5 million volume candle. Would have liked to see a cleaner backtest, to be fair with you. One tap, boom, and then continuation would be the strongest, right? That would be the strongest. We already have tapped it, and we're now going to tap it again. So two things can happen from here on out. Yeah, I expect either a range or a bigger retracement, or not bigger retracement, but more of a retracement from this increase in price to come into play. If that happens, that also brings us back down below the VWAP, and you could potentially even class this once again as a rejection / fake out above that VWAP again, right? So hopefully you can follow my train of thoughts here, how I'm interpreting that data, and I'm not just rushing myself into new trade ideas, right? I'm watching how this price action is currently developing, and I'm watching what is the nature of this move, and based off of that, you know, I'm starting to build trade ideas around that. Sometimes it's just best to, you know, lean back a little bit, stick with the charts though, but not necessarily actively trade it, and just let that data come to you, and then, you know, get back into it. Where's my chat? Where is my chat? Where is my chat? Loads of questions. Pretty good. Yeah, so by the way, one thing that I do want to mention, I've received a few comments from you guys like, hey, you missed my comment. I apologize. There's a lot of text that I have to go through, and sometimes most of the stuff I read, but I just simply forget to reply on it. So if I ignore you, or if I skip your question, don't necessarily take it personal, unless you meant it personal, you know. Bullish now reclaim. We're currently going through that, so we're gonna have to wait and see. Do you know how would funding fees act if I had a long open for like a year and a half? Probably not. Well, yeah. So okay, so this is actually a question that relates to me in the past. Funding fees can be great if you trade large positions and hold them over a longer period of time, right? So, for example, generally, this is why professional traders kind of do not really mind to be short, because by definition, the market tends to be more long positioned, and it means that shorts are pretty much always incentivized to take shorts, right? So if whether you're using it for a hedge or whatever your trading idea is, shorts can actually reward you most of the time, right? Now for long, for example in this bull run, right? I've been long for a very long time there. At some point, the funding fees were really crazy, where at some point it becomes pretty expensive to keep open the trades, right? We had funding rates of literally 0.3% or something like that. You know, now if when you have a small position, you don't necessarily feel it, but the larger you trade, the more it starts to matter, really. So that is at some point you kind of start have to ask yourself the question, like, okay, first of all, how much am I in profit currently? Secondly, let's say if you have, let's say, 1% funding fee on a single day, and if I remember correctly, we did had that somewhere around here. You kind of need to start making your way off the different factors to each other. Like, okay, if price is moving 6% on a day, which it did at this time, you know, easily, paying 3% funding to keep your long open, you would still end up profitable on the day. Right? Now, obviously, when price starts to consolidate and really starts to stagnate and funding fees remain really high, then it can indeed become very costly to keep open your position. And sometimes that can lead to deciding to close or to take some profits off the trade. 100%. 100%. Good question. I like that question. Good question. And in the end, if everybody is long at some point, then naturally, longs need to pay more, and also means that if everybody is long, then there's nothing left to buy. So it's highly likely you're gonna get a retracement, or in crypto terms, you're gonna dump. Everyone is smart while talking about past price action. Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm not such a great fan of talking about where I would have taken profits. But yeah, just for the educational side of things. There we go. Some nice Dutch bantering in the chat. Are you looking to short? No, I'm currently not looking to short, and the reason for that is because of the higher time frame forces in play. The reason why I'm not looking for shorts is, first of all, when we're going down, I'm looking for longs, and second of all, the context is we are at the bottom of a higher time frame range. So that is why I would not look to short here, as the chances to actually get a bounce or a bigger squeeze are pretty high, and I don't want to be caught up in that. So generally speaking, going short, if I'm shorting, it would just be a scalp trade. So let's say if I would be looking for the top of the range, yeah, I could potentially look to short that if we get another weak reaction at the top and we don't bust through. We actually get rejected. But I would be cautious with holding that short for any longer or below prices like $27,000. Um, I would say if you're looking to short that Head and Shoulders, I think you have had plenty of chances to do so. I haven't done so because you all know my bias right now. I remain bullish until proven otherwise. So I still, this what happened today does not change my bias. Does not change my bias. Ultimately, we're just range bound. But if you wanted to short, you really had so much opportunity to short, right? First of all, we saw this rejection. I think I even covered this one in the live stream. Was a difficult one, but here you actually had your market structure breakdown. This was your really great chance to short conservatively. Then you had another chance, and another chance. Shorting here is, I would say, you've totally missed out on that one. That is how I personally look at it. There were plenty of chances. Now is not the time to short, in my opinion. Even if we break down, still not the time to short. Something that other YouTubers would probably recommend you doing because it's a Head and Shoulders, but that's just not how I trade. I do not short support, guys. I do not short support. I think I know what my problem is. I'm just doing this all the time in the chat. That's why I'm losing everything. Let me see. One more time. I kind of expected a bit more questions about the competition, to be fair. I have no idea how much people joined, honestly. But I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it. It's going to be so fun. Also going to be cool to give you guys updates every single day. It is going to be limited though, so make sure you hit the notification so you don't miss it. So it's only going to be for the duration of the competition. Then I'll move on doing something else again in terms of content. The majority expect either up to 32, 33 before retracement or 25, 26. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of like that is kind of like very similar to the question, like, hey, what's the weather gonna be tomorrow? Yeah, maybe sunny, maybe rainy, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Basically it's true. Either we're gonna hit $33,000 first, or we're gonna hit $24,000 first. Yeah, I mean, you don't really, it's not rocket science. It can both can happen, but for me the context is just super important. So I'm not the type of trader that just changes its bias with every single piece of volatility. So for me it's just really simple. We're just in an uptrend. We've broken out of a really massive range that lasted for 6 months of longer, and unless we get back into it, I kind of still expect higher prices. Although if we start breaking below this range, then I would still be very interested in longing lower, but caution has to be taken. At the moment, none of that has happened, so I still expect higher prices first before another drop. That's as simple as it gets. But judging the probabilities of when and where that might happen, that is to be found in the lower time frames. And at the moment, it remains a little bit 50-50, to be fair. The most beautiful thing would be a fake out of all these lows. That would be icing on the cake. That would be icing on the cake. And that is where I would heavily look to compound into my long trades. Of course, depending on how we get there. Let me see. Oh right, we have a hater of crypto, right? So let's all give Craig's girlfriend a shout out. Don't hate crypto. Crypto is nice. um, are you looking at what comp? All right. So for people who tuned in a little bit later, I'm organizing a competition alongside of a new series that I'm starting next Monday. Every single day, I'm gonna bring you a daily update. So what I'm looking for intraday on the markets. I'll be probably doing a mix between pre-recorded videos and live stream, just see what works best. And parallel to that, I'm running a competition. It's on the BitGet exchange. You can find the link in the description on the YouTube video in this one as well. And what you need to do is follow the link, sign up through the link that's given there. The entry is essentially $100. You don't need to pay it. You just need to hold that into your account, and that's what you can start trading with. If you win the competition, you can win prize. You can win a prize. Starts in 4 days. So that's also the day where the new series starts. So you can look at my videos, and you can. I am going to attempt to help you navigate your way throughout the trading day, and I think it's really nice to also do that alongside a competition where you can potentially win some money. So and I'm doing that as a celebration of all the subscribers that I've managed to, I want to celebrate you guys, because of the 5,000 subscriber goal that I've originally set for myself. Almost hit that. So that's why I'm doing that, guys. And yeah, this is only really just the beginning. Just wait, because there's going to be some epic stuff going to come in a few weeks' time. So yeah, we're gonna go hard from now on, guys. So keep an eye on everything. We're gonna go. Let me see. Sorry, my friend. Sorry, my friend. Maybe when the next boomerang starts, you'll be running back to you, my friend. Just kidding. I'm getting so much questions. I do have plans for stuff. I don't want to say too much about it yet. But behind the scenes, man, like we're working, can I say it, incredibly hard to get a lot of shit done. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. Like the next part of the year, is gonna be really good in terms of like crypto education. I can promise you that, guys. So, which is the reason why I'm so happy, because I really like to teach. All right, so let's turn back to the charts. I think I've gotten all the questions so far. I think I've gotten most of them right now. So by the way, if you have any questions about the competition, now's the time to ask, because now I'm live, right? So now I can actually help you guys out with getting some answers if anything is unclear. Let's take a look at, let me quickly cross-reference the actual Bybit chart. Let's see where we're at. So this is the thing. As a trader, it's not switching over to a new platform, and I wanna understand. This is really the last thing I think I'm going to say about this exchanges. So I see a lot of hate, and I see a lot of for some reason, I just see a lot of hate being spread around about all these exchanges. I mean, guys, you guys really have to understand, we're talking about centralized exchanges. A lot of people are acting like in a really cultist way, like, oh, I'm only this one, and anything that doesn't belong to this exchange is a scam. Come on, guys, like stuff happens. We also had so many people advocating for FTX. We all know what happened with FTX, right? So just don't be like that. Don't hate so much on stuff that you've never tried out. Give it a chance. Give it at least a chance try it out for yourself. Make your own informed decision. Do not listen to other people on what you should and should not do. It's really, really important that you guys do that, because we are in crypto. We are in crypto. Stuff happens every single day. Use your own common sense, right? Don't just call out something if you've no clue what you're on about. By the way, this is not to nobody in person, right? But this is just more or less of what I see happening on internet, in crypto Twitter and stuff like this. So much confusion and anger and frustration and call outs going on. It's insane, Just relax, try it out for yourself. What was I on about? Right, so the point I was trying to make is that, yes, I've been moving over to a different platform, but as a trader, I cannot just say like, oh, today I'm gonna trade on this exchange, and I'm only gonna, say that this exchange is gonna work fine. No, I'm a trader and I'm going based off of data. So for now, I am cross-referencing to see if Bybit remains stable in terms of analysis. Maybe I'm gonna return at some point, but now I'm not, right? And I've been moving over to a new platform. It would not make sense to discard literally 3 years of trading experience on one exchange and just discard it just like that after like 2-3 days and just say like, oh, I'm only trading off of this new data now, where technically on a day trading level I have far less experience and information about than before. So far, and I have been trading on BitGet for, well, almost 2 years now, I think, more or less. But this has been more swing trading. So it is only recently, and I'm talking about a month or so, that I'm actively day trading on the exchange. And so far, it's really been good. I'm not going to lie. It's really been good. But I would be just stupid to not keep cross-referencing at first with my old tool that I've used. I've done the exact same thing when I've been trading on BitMEX. 4 or 5 years ago, I was only trading on BitMEX, right? Then BitMEX faltered and Bybit came into play. I moved over to Bybit, but that also happened gradually, right? It's not like from one on the other day, oh, boom, I'm going to go over, because I cross-referenced the data on Bybit, and let's be honest, the order flow in the beginning on Bybit was horrible, absolutely horrible. So while I was already trading on exchange number 2, I kept on cross-referencing things like order flow data for about half a year longer, really, just to check it out, Like, how is it work? Eventually, I switched over fully once it was fully reliable for me and I had gathered enough data. I'm doing the exact same process. It's not the first time for me, So that was a little rant, but I hope that really explains a little bit where I'm coming from and why I'm doing the things I'm doing, So that's I kind of wanted to get that off my chest. Well, so the pretty much the first scenario is playing out what I originally said, right? Because we've tapped this VWAP 2 times now, I kind of expected more or less of a range forming around that VWAP, which is exactly what we've got going on right now. So yeah, basically what we had: liquidity grab to the upside, liquidity grab to the downside, trying to test that VWAP. Another pretty much random bump, 1.5% to the upside. I still see liquidity issues, by the way, which makes it like pretty difficult to really gauge what's gonna come next. We're now pretty much in the middle of the range, right? And that leaves us with pretty much a 50-50 chance of what's gonna happen next. Not a great place to take a trade from currently, at the moment. Not a great place to trade from. So, Let's do a little bit more analysis, right? So just to walk you through my process of how I'm looking next, so that you guys all know that I'm not doing only hindsight analysis, but I'm also going to do forward analysis. So what can we do from here? We can pull some fibs. Actually, I do want to move over now to my new exchange chart. Throw on these levels just to refocus a little bit, right? There we go. Okay, so what can we do from here? So we could see if we drop below the VWAP, I expect a local retracement of this move up. So that gives us a Fibonacci pull from here to here, right? If we get back into this region, I can already pretty much guess that we have a POC, all the way down there below, right? So that's what I more expected. So this candle is a little bit, at the moment, I'm going to exclude it. So then that next level of support is going to be that old range. Lose that, then we can start looking for a bigger retracement. And then we can scale up this pool from here to here. Little confluence, to be fair, pretty little confluence. And that is what makes it difficult. That is what makes it difficult. Would you have 786? Okay, on the daily level. So we really, we start getting actual confluence from this bounce. Should we start having a proper retracement, we should be having confluence at $26,000. Psychological level, local 786, and a daily level. I think we're gonna fall through because of the reason we have been tapping that daily level multiple times. So I'm taking it from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and today 5 times. So that support is being eaten away, which opens up that possibility for that fake out to the downside. So then again, I'm not that interested in taking a long over here for that reason. So that really leaves me with not that great, not so much opportunities. Well, yeah, I guess the one that I just mentioned, like we do have potential local retracement. Maybe if we pull it from here, from the start of the range. Means not the most beautiful price action, to be fair, but yeah, let's be honest. Yeah, we do once again have actually confluence on that very local 786. That could provide a potential scalp trade. That could potentially provide a scalp trade where you would be looking to trade that out of the range again. Either this weekly level or this VWAP then obviously becomes resistance. In terms of taking profits, I'm generally a little bit more aggressive on that. And then ultimately, I would be looking to trade that to the next resistance, that POC. Right? So as a matter of fact, we could start actually framing our price action as follows. What we could actually do is actually maybe we're just, for now, we're just in this zone. Right, with our accurate levels at the POC, value area low, and at daily level over here, and then we have the highs and lows, and that gives us the region where we can look to trade in from. For a short trade, I would be very interested on that reaction at that POC. For a scalp trade, could provide a potential short trade. To be fair. However, I'm aware that we're at the low of the range, so we could easily squeeze through. So, in order for that short to become valid, either we see an SFP break and then, change of market structure, or we would see a local change of market structure. That could provide me with a more conservative entry on the short. That's one I would take, actually. Let me see. Yeah, I think I'm starting to run out of things to say. Let me see if some questions coming in. Let me see some. Looking forward to the competition. Cool, man. Yeah, happy to have you here. It's gonna be cool. Let me see. I'm getting so much questions about the Discord. Wait a few weeks, guys. But in short, yeah, probably I will. I'll end up probably doing that. Yeah, it does make sense, doesn't it? It does make sense. Yeah, interesting quote. Yeah, I mean, I guess you got a I guess you got a point. Maybe, you know. Okay, I saw also some DMs coming in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna show you guys the links. So if you just go to the video, where I think so just here, this is the description of the current video we're in. Just click on show more. If you click on here, you go to the competition page where you can find the link as well. Or if you just directly want to sign up, just click on this link and it will bring you to the sign up page of BitGet where you can create an account. You also get 15% off fees, by the way. This is pretty good. So yeah, use it and trade cheaper, which is good. All right, now I lost my chat once again. There we go. Yeah, so that is a good question. Can you please explain what can be the difference in exchange trading? The most important thing you need as a day trader is reliable order flow and good liquidity. I mean, if you're trading small positions, it doesn't matter. But volume levels can differ. Overall volume, can fluctuate prices heavily. So if you are trading, let's say if you're a bit of a larger trader, if you're trading 6, 7, well, I would say 7 or 8 figures, then it's you need a high volume exchange. Otherwise, you simply cannot get your positions filled, and that's problematic. You're simply not able to trade on full capacity. That's why it's important. But if you're trading lower position size, it doesn't really matter that much. To be fair, it doesn't really matter too much. But as a price action trader, me, for example, who trades off of order flow, I do want to see certain volume levels being respected, and I want to see things that suit my strategy, right? And that is ongoing research at the moment. Yeah, so this is one of these discrepancies at the moment. Currently, I am on that. How do you say that? Well, actually, we're above both. We are above the VWAP. This is the BitGet chart. We are above the VWAP. This is inverse perpetuals, by the way, where you're trading Bitcoin as collateral, right? So on the USDT pair, that is where we are below. So I'm cross-referencing it right now on the BTC pair, which on BitGet they call it Coin M futures, which is equal to the inverse perpetuals, where your base currency is Bitcoin. My coffee is indeed cold. Yeah, that is true. Do you use moving averages? We basically wicked off the 800 EMA. Yeah, so I'm not against EMAs and moving average. I'm not against it. However, for day trading, there's a very specific time where they have a purpose, but usually not. For the higher time frames, and I will do a video on this in the future, for let's say if you're more like a position trader or more investing or more like a really big swing trader, which is what a position trader is, then they can be helpful. They can be helpful in massive bear, massive bull markets. But it doesn't help you for day trading per se, unless very specific conditions have been met. So the answer is, do I look at them? Yes, I do. But do I use them on a daily basis? No, I don't. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, let's actually start looking at how the daily candle looks like. Yeah, it's no, it's not an engulfing candle at all at the moment. I wouldn't class it as such. I would class it as yeah, it has a name, but I forgot it. But I'm classing this as a major indecision candle caused by short-term volatility, such as inflation data coming out, whatever. But technicals being respected. It was just a liquidity to the upside, liquidity to the downside, and we end up where we started today. So while we have overall moved about 15% today, if you're trading only on the higher time frame, nothing happened. Nothing. Which is very funny. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So, for example, this is personal taste. I will do, by the way, by the end of this weekend, I will do a short tutorial on how I use the exchange. What I also like, it does have integrations with third-party software like ATAS and other trading portals. So if you don't like the interface, that doesn't have to be per se to put you off. Because you can integrate it in other programs as well. But yeah, it's like a tasting, and probably it also has to do with, you just need to get used to something new. I myself, I'm a big sucker for interfaces as well. So whenever I have to change an interface, I'm really annoyed. So I totally understand that, 100%. But with time, you can get used to it, and actually, it has some quite nifty features, which I'm gonna make a video actually about before the competition starts. So everybody starts with a base knowledge on how to use the exchange, so you don't have to struggle with understanding the interface. You can already register right now and start experimenting with it anyway. By the way, just make sure you have $100 in that futures account on the day that the competition starts. Which browser are you using? I am using Brave browser, which is also a crypto browser, by the way. I think the coin is called BAT, B-A-T. Yeah, spinning flip side, backflip bottom, maybe. Yeah, sometimes I'm a little bit fuzzy on the terminology on these on candlesticks and stuff. But as long as you know what they mean, it's important. That's the yeah. That's the one. Doji. Yeah, backflip 360 kickflip candle. What do you think about the 9.8k BTC dumping on the market just now from? Yeah, so there's every few months we have something like that, some news like that coming out. To me, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter because we can see it and we can see it live coming into the into the order flow. So I don't care where it comes from or who does it. I don't care. All I care about is are these traders doing it in a clever way? Yes or no? For me, it's chess. It's like 5D chess. So I'm always trying to think multiple steps ahead. For me, it doesn't matter what the government is doing currently. If the price dumps, I'm not gonna quickly look for news of why something has happened. No, all the information is right here in front of me. I do not need external sources. That helps me actually become profitable from trades. In the end, understanding the entire economic machine, I find it interesting to study that. But you don't need to know anything about that if you're trading price action. You really don't need to know any of that. All you need to know is how price action works, and technical analysis gives you the confidence to create your plan. Yeah, I really should start a group, you know? Like, so I can teach you all this stuff. I really should. Okay, Alter Ego got a question. Quickly gonna react on this one. Let me really confirm that. Yes, that is usually the case. So if we see shorts increasing, let me see if that actually holds true. Yeah, well, I mean, it's really not massive. It's very small. It's very little volume. But yeah, that's the basic idea. You got that right. Yeah. So people trying to short does, as long as this local market structure kind of holds up, which is, by the way, not very defined. And that's why it makes it such a mixed situation currently. But overall, yeah, if you see an imbalance basically on one side, usually they get punished. Alter Ego, what 3 TA things would you recommend? Would you recommend to a beginner to focus on? Oof. Market structure, and market structure. Those 3 things. Focus on that. That will get you a long way. All right, guys. I think we've covered everything. Let me just really quickly finalize my analysis and give you a final conclusion on what I'm looking for on the chart. Starting off with the ES, and I'm gonna call it a day. So ES pretty much hovering around a really big level. I expect. At the moment, I expect higher prices on the ES overall, and I'm talking about the midterm time frame. That would coincide with my bias on Bitcoin, where I ultimately also expect higher prices before we get a much steeper retracement. So you could class this as consolidation retracement, but I'm talking about, you know, something like this and then a really big one. That could still be bullish, by the way, but by the time we get there, obviously I will be having new videos out, so makes no sense. For now, totally and utterly range bound. We're trying to reclaim some local levels, and that could spark the beginning of a rotation of this range, where I would be ultimately looking up for $30,000 first. Then we have the top of this entire range set at around 30,100. If we reclaim that, then I expect higher prices with, I would really say at least 33,000, but I would not be surprised if we then would travel to $39,000. But again, by then I will be creating a video. What kind of trade setups am I looking for? Or in my situation, where am I looking to compound the long trades that I'm already in? One swing trade that I've been building literally around the lows of this range over the last few weeks, and I remain in a long from 20,676. Getting that fake out would be, for me, the ultimate opportunity to compound on that trade if the reaction is given. So what I want to see is, I want to see loads of volume. I want to see a lot of people getting super fearful, a lot of people shorting, and then I want to see them being trapped. That will provide a great opportunity for me, where I'm willing to take on heavy risk, albeit calculated beforehand. I already know exactly how much I'm going to put into the trade and how much I'm going to risk. I already know, right? So that's already done. So the only thing I need to do is wait for price to get there, decide if I like what I see, and then take the trade. Lastly, we have the dollar, remains bearish, still in the channel, and as you can see, this monthly level remains relevant for a lot longer than it normally does in, let's say, crypto. But yeah, this is Forex, so technical analysis works exactly the same. However, the characteristics of the chart is different, and therefore I'm keeping on monthly levels way longer than I would, for example, on any crypto asset really. But we can see that over the last weeks, really, we have been on the low, mid, and higher time frame. We have been, it has been extremely well respected. Now, to frame a little bit more around that, we are still in a downward sloping channel. So really, the dollar is still in an ongoing downtrend, and I expect lower prices as well, which also corresponds all with my idea of the ES seeing higher prices, and most likely Bitcoin will follow then as well with higher prices. Really, if we start really breaking back above this this channel, we reclaim this month level, ultimately preferably really starting to take out these highs, that would class a sign of strength on the dollar, where we could potentially look for a bigger bounce coming into play. Again, this is really high time frame, and that would not be very great news for Bitcoin. But hey, at the moment, still ongoing. Very little has changed on the mid and even higher time frame. So it is really much more going into the local levels right now. So going onwards, that's how I'm looking. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm expecting. I remain bullishly biased for now. And well, if we break to the downside, then obviously I'm going to update you guys. Locally, I still more or less expect, it doesn't have to happen today, but maybe tomorrow or in after the weekend even, I still expect us to challenge these lows, which is what I would really like. And I'm just simply going to go from there. I have my plan ready, and if I don't like what I see, I'm not taking the trade. If I like what I see, I'm going to take it, and then let the price do its work. All right, so hopefully you like this stream. I think this is a great time to wrap it up. We've gone over questions. We've gone in-depth over analysis. We had a great talk answering some questions, etc. And I've thoroughly enjoyed. Thanks for joining me tonight. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. And also don't forget to register for the competition. And be sure to click on the notification bell, because Monday the new series is gonna start, and from there on out, it's gonna be only fire. Well, I'm out, guys. Cheers, everybody.